Hello again, Jeremy Arny from the Canadian Action Party. Bill C51. Everybody is talking about it, and if they're not, they should be. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it indifferent? Does it have any value? Well, I'm going to give you 3 quotes, which are all to do, I think, with Bill C51. First one from Winston Churchill. Some of you are too young to know who he is, but never mind. However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. So what are the results going to be of Bill C51? Increased security against possible threats from some people we're attacking anyway? Loss of freedoms? Loss of rights? Well, those are 2 of them. Next thing is, anyone who trades liberty for security deserves neither liberty nor security. That was an American, by the name of Benjamin Franklin. Well, is that what we're doing? Are we giving up our security for freedom? Doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Do you remember that woman in the streets of London after the bombing who said she would gladly give up her freedoms to be safe? And she said that right live on TV, and I looked at it and I thought, do you realize what you just said, woman? But anyway, that seems to be what we're being asked to give. And then the last part about this is this bill constitutional? Well, the Constitution of Canada does not belong either to Parliament or to the legislatures. It belongs to the country. And it is therefore, and it is there that the citizens of the country will find the protection of the rights to which they are entitled. And that comes from the Supreme Court of Canada. I believe also the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia, the Attorney General, said basically the same thing. So, are you willing to give up your rights for the sake of being safe from something that you don't even know exists? How can you be sure that the bogey under the tree is actually going to attack you? How can you be sure that the person in the car next door to you is not a terrorist? You don't. You trust that they're Canadians. You don't give up your rights. You don't allow yourself to be treated as the Minister of Public Safety, who's supposed to look after your safety, said after that gentleman was killed in Dawson Creek because he wore an anonymous mask and he was shot down by police. And what did Stephen Blaney say? If you choose to dissent, you will face the full force of the law. Basically saying to all the policemen in this country, somebody's wearing a mask and they dissent, kill him. Is that what you want? It comes directly out of Bill C51. Directly. Is there any oversight to it? No. One more thing. 2 more things, actually. First of all, this whole section in Bill C51 about the criminal code. If you look at the criminal code and see, you will find that the courts that are being asked for warrants are not federal courts at all. They are, in fact, the Supreme Court of Canada, Supreme Court of the provinces. All right, so I live in BC. How am I going to get, if I'm a CSIS agent, how am I going to get to the Supreme Court of BC on a Friday night? The answer is I'm not. Who can I get to? You work your way down through the list, and eventually what do you come to? A justice of the peace who has a fax machine, and he will fax you a warrant, an e-warrant, to allow you to do whatever it is you want to do. Now, this is out of Bill C51. You follow the logic, follow the legislation, and I've made a practice of this over the years. Follow it down where it says this applies to this. Go there and have a look. And you can follow it, and you'll see that not only is it the provincial courts that are now responsible, but because they're the ones who are responsible, they are going to bear the costs of Bill C51 as far as warrants are concerned. Well, is this a federal thing or not? You know, are we paying as a federal government, or are we paying as a provincial peoples for a federal government mistake? Okay. That was one of the things that I wanted to point out. And the other thing was, you'll forgive me, I'm getting old. It's gone right out of the head. Oh. Damn it, Paul. Why does this happen?
Some about Bill C51. First part was the federal provincial courts thing. What was the last one? Something about rights. Something about it's an application while it's still under.
Okay, let's try this. So the second point, and what it really boils down to is this, is do we want to be a country that lives in fear of our neighbors. Fear that they have a different religion, therefore they're different, therefore they're going to attack us. Well, I don't think so. Has Canada been like that? Ever since we've sort of established this so-called democracy that we claim to have, that in actual fact we do not? Do we want to be frightened that if we open our mouths and say something to a policeman when he's perhaps giving us a ticket for a seatbelt, that he can reach down to his holster, pull out his gun and say, "You're dissenting to this ticket, bang, you're dead"? Because in essence, that's what happened in Dawson Creek. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren to live in fear of their neighbors, of anybody else. I want them to live with a world that looks up to Canada, respects Canada, and treats Canada as a friend and an ally. That's the vision I see for Canada. And unfortunately, I don't really see it in any of the so-called political leaders of today. That is to say, the big ones, who are really not leaders at all. They just do what they're told by who knows. Thank you.